All right. That's enough of that. Ooh, man. What's up, folks? It's Steve Holmes, streaming live from Los Angeles. Welcome. Thanks for hanging out. Pardon me. Whew. You know, I do have an air conditioner in here, but I can't have it on while I'm playing, so maybe I'll turn it on now. We'll see. Now my glasses are getting all fogged up. Anyways, what's going on? Thanks for hanging out. That first tune that I started with, the electric violin tune, is from an amazing violinist named Dorian Cheah. Folks should definitely look him up. I'll post a link in the chat to his social media. Anyway, Dorian was kind enough to let me use that tune. I played it once, maybe twice before. Anyway, Dorian Cheah, Cheah. Amazing violin player. He and I were in a band years ago with this singer-songwriter, and then we had done some solo stuff together as well because I just love his playing. I love his tunes, and I just love the sound of electric violin, man. It's it's like an electric guitar, but it just sounds a little different. And if you're in the mood for that difference, then it's like, whoa. Super cool. Super cool. So Dorian Cheah, Muezzin is the name of the tune. Dorian, thanks for letting me use that tune. Anyways, what's up, folks? We're streaming live from the Los Angeles area. I have no idea how it sounded on any of that stuff. I spent a while trying to dial in the sound a little bit because every time I stream, I listen back and I'm like, try to find room for improvement. And I actually changed my snare drum. And for those that were at the last stream, we did some experimenting where we took some really big crash cymbals that were all cracked and we put them together for a hi-hat. And it was really cool, like this kind of sloshy, sound that was inspired by Dave DiCenzo and Tos Panos. Anyways, I like that sound so much that I decided to put it here on the right. And the stack that I had here, I put here. And we had put this stack together when it was here, kind of as a group on the stream. We'd all I tried different combinations and that kind of thing. Anyway, this stack right here is a 10-inch trash former on top of a hi-hat cymbal, a really heavy bottom hi-hat cymbal. That's maybe 13, I think. So a 10-inch trash former on top of a 12 or a 13-inch hi-hat. And then I got these, shaky shells. Shaky shells, we call them. Which I bought as a result of seeing that band that I really like, that I forget the name of. It'll come to me. Anyway, the drummer was amazing, and he had those shells on his hi-hat, and I bought them. And, of course, it sounded nothing like him. And so I was like, so they just kind of, they hung out, and I've been trying to find, different places for them. And I think shaky shells actually sound pretty good on this stack. Anyways, thanks for hanging out. I changed the back camera angle, too. I kind of raised it up and moved it back. We're trying to just change things up here, make it a little different. So I took off the pearl brass snare, put the Noble and Cooley snare back on. Really not happy with the snare drum sound still. I need to get a new. I want to try to get a Dunnet back here. I had a Dunnet for a long time, and I had to give it back to a friend of mine, and so I've been meaning to maybe investigate getting one of those Dunnet titanium, 14 by 5.5. I would just love to get one of those, man. It just sounded amazing when I had one of those before. Anyway, cheers to drumming and the internet. Also, these are new. These in-ear monitors. These are the Shure 5350 or whatever. I will tell you the exact model. The 535s. The Shure 535s. That's what they are. They're working great so far. I'm just kind of getting used to them. And before I was using iPhone earbuds with the with the soundproofing cans on top, and I was like, all right, it's time for some time for some big boy in-ear monitors. So we got these, and I'm happy with them so far. This is my first time playing with them on the stream, and I actually have some of the drum mix going in, so it's a totally different experience and absolutely affected like how I played. But I'm still kind of getting used to it. I think they're keepers. I just need to, tweak and adjust. And I actually bought a little headphone amplifier too, so I can really crank it. Because we want to lose my hearing as soon as possible. Just kidding. All right, let's see what folks are saying. Let's read the comments. This will be fun. Let's see. On YouTube, Mario D'Angelo says, brutal playing. What's your main influences? I love that stack. Thank you, Mario D'Angelo on YouTube. Man, influences all kinds. Rock, jazz, I'm 50 years old and I've been playing since I've been in like 6th grade. So there's been different, eras, everyone goes through different eras, like, or phases where I'm all into this band for a while and that band for a while. But the long story short is I grew up with rock and roll and progressive rock. That was my thing when I was young, like Yes, Rush, Genesis, that kind of stuff. Pop music of the 80s that had like good drumming, like Simple Minds and stuff like that. Then got into jazz and jazz fusion and kind of, blasted off from there to like, actual jazz and studio guys and, wanted to explore the whole tree, It's really beneficial to get familiar with like all as many guys as you can. As many guys as you can. So that way, if you're in the mood for different things and, you can appreciate the strengths of different drummers, and that can affect your playing in a positive way. It's possible to not like a drummer, but still benefit from like their strength. If you're a chops guy or if you're into like, progressive rock and stuff, it doesn't mean you can't, get something from really studying like John Robinson, and listening to the tracks that he, was a big part of bringing to life and affected, in generations of people, that early Michael Jackson stuff and Shaka and Steve Winwood. I mean, John Robinson, I just love the groove stuff that he does with them, So, those are just some of my influences. But my favorite drummer is Vinny, for sure. Vinny Colaiuta, he's the greatest drummer ever. Period, the end. Let's see, Jimmy Retza on YouTube says, Buddy and Gene, Dave and Vinny. Nice collection. Happy Saturday, all fans of good drumming. Yes, for sure. Hey, someone from Twitch is here. I love Sophie Powers. We're streaming to Twitch and YouTube and Twitter and Facebook and Kick all at the same time right now. And usually there's no one from Twitch here, but we have a couple people from Twitch. What is up, folks from Twitch? I love Sophie Powers. Do you take song requests? And then Nathan Pluto from Twitch says hello Nathan. You are so good, says I love Sophie Powers. Thank you very much. Yeah, it's good crowd here today. I don't take song requests, sorry. Let's see, Jimmy on YouTube says great groove, love the subdivision choices. Thank you. Michael Bambrick, I think I recognize that name. You may have been here before, Michael. He says very creative. Thank you. See, what is your favorite tempo to play in? What's the max BPM when using 30-second notes for you? I mean, I don't know. I haven't I haven't done the thing where I've turned on the click and slowly sped it up until I can't do it anymore. Like when I started, when I was playing by myself here and I was kind of, working on 30-second note stuff, like I'm almost more concerned about just simply being able to do it than I am like, what is the fastest I can do it? I mean, that stuff is just so tricky for me. And as some may have recognized, a lot of that is just like paradiddle sticking, paradiddle phrasing, soloing and playing fills in 30 seconds is always something that I've been, kind of impressed with and has not been a strength of mine. And so I'm constantly working on it. So let's see. Seven Hills on YouTube says, I can listen to your drumming all day. Thank you. I appreciate it. Let's see. Nicholas Media on YouTube says, I try to keep my left foot on every quarter note when playing solo, but I find it really hard. Is there a good practice routine to make your left foot independent? It is challenging. Talking about, keeping the left foot going, you just got to force yourself like constantly. It's like you got to start that habit, and whenever you sit down and play, just tell yourself, like, I'm not gonna I'm not going to not tap my foot. And if you're not tapping your foot, then just stop and force yourself to do it, you know. And if you're having trouble, you know, tapping the quarter notes on certain, you know, certain things, chances are it's like, you know, there's a particular subdivision that you're having trouble tapping your foot on, you know. If it's 16-note triplets or 32nd notes, or playing accents that are not on the downbeat on any subdivision, you know, that's probably kind of challenging, you know. You just got to go through. I mean, there's only so many different combinations and stuff, you know. Go through the subdivisions, you know, play 16th notes and accent all the combinations. You know, tap your foot, get that sloshy, I call it the sloshy quarter note going, you know, get that going, and just play hand-to-hand 16th notes around the kit. You know, simple stuff. Just simple stuff. But just focus on getting that hat going, you know. It's such a... folks ask about that all the time, and I think it's such an important part of kind of getting that flow, you know, is communicating that kind of sloshy quarter note, you know. Last weekend we didn't stream because I gave a lesson, and that was one of the things we talked about, was getting that flow, and how sloshing that quarter note is such a big part of that, you know. And you know, it sounds cool, like if there's space, if you're leaving space and you just keep that quarter note going, and then you take control over it, you know, if you're like doing a tight chick versus a slosh, that kind of thing, you know. I've shown my foot before, but I can just demonstrate really quick like what my left foot looks like when I'm doing that stuff. Let's see if I can. So just a quick foot cam there, because folks ask about the left foot a lot. So there you go. Left foot. Practice all the subdivisions. Practice different accent combinations within the subdivisions. Keep the foot going. And as you see, like my left foot, it's like halfway down the pedal, and it's just kind of like, I'm just kind of tapping my foot, you know. But eventually that slosh like needs to become like part of your voice, you know, like when you're playing, you know. So yeah, left foot hi-hat. Talking about that. What else do we got here? What else is people saying? Hey, Angel Coat, C-O-T-T-E, says more cymbals, loving it. Yeah, I mean, you know, substituting cymbals, you know, changing stuff around. I like changing stuff around because it forces you to make creative decisions. You know, forces you to try to come up with different ideas. And sometimes you get stuff for free. That's what I say. Like if you take something that you're going to do anyway, something that you're going to play anyway, a certain sticking or something, and like instead of like ghost notes with the left hand, like you play it on, you know, the stack kind of thing. You know, like in the middle of a thing, you just normally like, oh, let me just put my hand here, and all of a sudden you get like these free, this thing out of nowhere where it's like while you're playing other stuff, and it's like, whoa, what's going on? It's like, well, you know, you kind of get it for free sometimes if you move your hands around to different things, and then you can kind of take that and modify that. All right, making sure everything is cool. Sometimes I forget to turn microphones back on and change cameras, and it's a whole thing here we're doing. Well, I'm going to turn on the air conditioning for a few minutes. All right, it's going to be loud. Boom. Air conditioning. You know what I need is a fan. I need a fan like down there. Get the heavy metal rock and roll video with the hair blowing like while I'm playing. That would be great. So let's see what else are folks saying. Hey there, normal fellow, says Normalized Audio. What's up, Normalized Audio, back on YouTube. Normalized, I appreciate you hanging out on the streams, man. You are here for all of them. Let's see, New Breed, Gary Chester. Yeah, it's good for independence, although I've never worked out of that book. Let's see, Nicholas Media says, how did you play that last quick solo on the toms? Can you play that slow? I did kind of slow that down. I mean, that was just a phrase that I've been working on. We talked a lot about it on previous streams. It's what I call a Louis Palmer lick for my good friend Louis Palmer, amazing drummer. It's basically over 16-note triplets, and it's like it's on two different toms, whatever two toms of your choice, and it's foot right left, right left right. That's the sticking, just over triplets. Foot right left, right left right, foot right left, right left right. And you saw me like I was literally practicing like coming out on one with my left hand, because it's a triplet on the second drum, so it's like right left for one. And so yeah, I'm just trying to work that in. Trying to work it in. It's a tricky phrase. It's not quite like second nature yet, but I'm working on it, It's a process, man. If there's something that you're not used to doing that is intended to play fast, it's a whole process, and probably the most important part is understanding the intention of the phrase. What is that phrase trying to say? And that particular phrase is like, it's just 16-note triplets, but it starts with a foot, like that's why it sounds cool. And a foot's on the downbeat, and that's just half of it. Like you can use that as kind of a link in a chain of other different combinations. But you got to understand the intention of the phrase. Like, what is the phrase supposed to sound like, and make sure that you are achieving that. What do you want it to sound like? Let's see, what else are folks saying? Normalized Audio saying silly things. Let's see, that girl Sarah, she has a big nose, etc. I don't know what that means. I'm sorry. I bet she would come on the show. She goes to Musicians Institute. Just seen a guy tapping left. Oh my God. I've recently started attending an open jazz jam as a beginner jazz, says Ted Stuff. As a jazz drummer, going to open jam session. I have decent independence, but I feel like I don't know how to push the band, and perhaps I underplay. Any suggestions? Well, yeah, step one, record yourself. If you're playing along with musicians and you're just starting out, record yourself, okay? Step two, have an idea, of what you want the music to sound like when you play it. And when you listen back, ask yourself, like, does it sound like that? And if it doesn't, like, why not? What is it about the music? When you listen to music, when you listen to jazz music and jazz drumming, like, what is it about it that you think is key to you liking it? Like, why do you like it? Isolate those things and try to incorporate that into your playing and try to bring that to the music, I find that, a big part of playing music with other musicians that I've found to be very beneficial is practicing enough in the drum room so you get to a certain level where it's like when you get on the gig, when you get to the rehearsal, you don't have to worry about the drumming. You don't have to worry about it. You got it. I can do the drumming. Drumming's no problem. Playing music, unless you have musicians in your drum room all the time, like playing music, it's like focus on that. And what I mean specifically is like listen to the music as a whole. Don't just listen to your drumming, listen to the music, or make sure that you are not interfering with that goal. You know, the band has a goal, whether they like it or not, whether they know it or not. Folks getting together to play music, the goal is to play music, hopefully for a listener to like. You know, these are things that people get so caught up in learning an instrument and, you know, it's like they forget about, like, okay, zoom out, look at the big picture, you know? Sorry, I hope my air conditioner isn't too loud. Actually, I can turn on low. Let's turn on low. Oh, that's low. It's not much quieter. Oh, it sounds like exactly the same on low. Yeah, just pay attention to, you know, to what everyone else is doing. But I mean, have confidence in your playing, you know. I mean, I know that's a thing, and Ted, I wouldn't, like, don't stop. Don't get discouraged, you know. Like Ted's stuff on YouTube is saying he's recently started attending an open jazz jam, and he's asking about, like, you know, different suggestions and stuff. Don't worry about the politics of it. Don't worry about the intimidating. These guys seem so good, and these guys are giving me work. Like, don't worry about that, man. Like, be confident in yourself. Be confident in your playing. Get familiar with as many standards as you possibly can. You know, memorize the melodies, memorize the forms. Make sure you're clear on how many bars are in the form. And that's one of my weaknesses. You know, I mean, jazz drummers are pretty lucky when going to jazz, because I'm like, hey, is it, you know. Is it divisible by 4 bars? Then we're okay, you know. But some of these heads are like, oh, it's 11 bars, so it's like, ooh, you know, you got to pay attention to, you know, when we're after 11 bars, you go back to the top, you know, like you gotta know that, you know. And sometimes what can be helpful for that is getting used to the chord changes, you know. Or memorizing the melody and like singing the melody to yourself, like even while other people are soloing, you will still want to hear the changes, you still want to hear the melody, and you don't want to rely on the soloist to spell out the changes, but chances are there's someone comping, and you know, it's okay to talk to the people that are the piano player while the sax player is going like, hey man, can you really like kind of spell out, you know, like if you look, you know, if you need help, it's okay to ask for help, you know. There's a lot of play-along tracks that just have only comping, you know, for horn players to practice to. It might be good to listen to those and get used to like what it sounds like when folks are comping over a form, regardless of the soloist, you know. Sorry, I know I'm going on a big tangent here about playing jazz. Ted said he has decent independence. I don't feel like I know how to push the band. That's an interesting phrase to use, push the band. I mean, you don't want to do anything irresponsible in terms of tempo, like you use the word push, but I mean, if you want to, I mean, are you talking about bringing energy? You know, I think that's a thing that some guys don't really think about. Some folks, I should say, not necessarily guys or girls, whatever, but like you sit down on an instrument, especially the drums, you are instantly bringing energy when you play any style of music. You bring in energy, and that comes from what you play, how you look when you play, the confidence in what you play, you know, the respect that you have for the music while you play, when you choose to say things, when you choose to not say things, how concerned you are about locking it with the bass player. So many things, like, you know, but really, you just got to do it over and over and over and over. You just got to do it nonstop, so that you are just as confident playing music as you are walking or driving. Kinda, you know? And if it's not happening, it's okay. If you fail, it's okay. It's important to fail so that you can learn and get better. Talk to guys after you play. Like, hey man, I wasn't sure if I was playing too loud during the bass solo, or I was underplaying, you know, during the bass solo, or overplaying during the set. Like, talk to guys afterwards, you know? And their answers, you know, they're not necessarily going to be scripture, but it's good to get as much information as you can, you know? You know, don't make permanent changes on your playing just because one guy said a thing like, oh, I like when you play brushes on my bass solo. It doesn't mean you always have to do that. It's just for that particular guy, you know? Yeah. I think that's good, right? That's a lot of information about playing jazz and going to jazz jam sessions and stuff. Let's see. Tony on YouTube says, hi Steve, Tony from Munich. You are such an inspiration for the drumming community. God bless and take care. Thank you, Tony. Really appreciate it. Angel Coat Sorry, you ever jam along with any Weckl records, like stuff on Heads Up or Hardwired? No. No, why would I do that? I mean, that stuff already has like Dave drumming on it, and I don't know. I listened to a lot of the Weckl records like back in the day, and musically, in terms of like, oh, I like this music. You know, there wasn't a whole lot. You know, it was kind of more about the coolness of the drumming and that whole thing. But I think Hardwired has some cool tunes, actually. That's his third solo record from the early 90s. Mid-90s. 92-ish, I think. 91, 92, 93. Hardwired. There's some tunes on there that I think are cool. There's one tune in particular called Afrique. That, man, is so good. It's such a good example of like 4/4, 6/8, 3/4 all together. The melody of the tune actually, you know, it goes to these different signatures. This bridge thing happens, and then on the outro, like what the bass and drums do, Anthony Jackson on bass, what they do on the end of that is just nuts. It's just nuts. Not because it's fast, but just because it's kind of like feel and meter wise, like it's a little tricky, you know. Dave likes to do things like, hey, you know, because he feels all the feels, obviously. Like, you give him a quarter note, man, and he's just feeling all the different grooves over top of that quarter, you know, 6/8, 3/4, 4/4, you know, and that kind of thing. And so, you know, he'll do things where it's like, you know, the tune is in 6/8, but then he'll put like a horn hit, a 16th after the downbeat, you know. Stuff like that. I just think that stuff is interesting. And it's the kind of stuff one might not notice, which is probably a good thing, you know. Anyways, Hardwired. I like. Pardon me. But regardless, like, we definitely need to do some more play-alongs on here. You know, not enough music playing on the streams, so I'm trying to do that more. I really wrestled with getting you know, the mix of that violin song at the beginning, and I don't have a lot of confidence that it was well mixed, because it's hard to tell while you're playing live, and I'm just like one guy here. I'm using like the streaming software and the software for this, you know, Apollo processor, and trying to get it all to work well and get a good earphone mix, and then like output a good mix, and it's crazy. I'm not an engineer. I'm doing the best I can. Anyways. Need some more loops. So I want to get some loops, like some groove loops, some chill groove loops, and just kind of play along with that stuff, you know. Let's see. Nicholas Media says, I love Louis Palmer's YouTube videos, almost as good as yours. Oh, did you hear that, Louis? Almost as good. Just kidding. Louis and I are friends. Louis just got a new drum room. He moved from where he was to his new location. I'm not going to say where they are. But he moved, and if you follow Louis on social media, you'll see that he just fixed up his new drum room, made it a lot like the old drum room, and I'm looking forward to Louis putting out some new content. He was here about a month ago, playing on here, and we actually showed some video after he was here on one of the old streams. If you go to my channel and search for, like, you know, Louis Palmer visit or something, you'll find it on the stream. Let's see. Hey, Matthias is here, guys. Hey, Steve, I'm late to the party this time. Matthias, what is up? Matthias, such a great drummer. Hope all is well. Thank you, man. I saw, Matthias, you posted a new clip of you playing with your guitar player friend. That was super cool, man. That guy was playing some cool stuff. You were playing some cool stuff. It was like this kind of, you know, sloppy, you know, groove thing. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was cool. Let's see. Nick on YouTube. Nick says, man, I find comping with my snare hand really difficult. Even though my independence is okay, it's musical placement I struggle with. Thanks for talking about this. Yeah, it's hard. You know, it's hard. And it's interesting because once you get your independence into a place where you can kind of, you know, play, you know, you have some freedom with your other limbs against the swing pattern. You know, you listen to other drummers and like, what are they playing? And a lot of people, almost everyone, just end up repeating themselves. You know, and it's not. I mean, it's not terribly important, because I think, you know, when you're listening to someone solo, a sax player, piano player, or something, and it's like what I'm going for, and what I think what a lot of folks are going for. It's not It's not about like, oh, what am I playing with my left hand? It's like you hit a button and you turn on energy. You know, you are energy, you are motion, you are time, you are groove. You know, and that is like inputting to the music, and the music immediately changes as a result of what you are doing. And so, you know, what do you want to do with that? What are you doing with that? You know, I always try to make sure that my ride cymbal is louder, obviously, or maybe it's not so obvious. Try to make sure my ride cymbal is kind of leading in terms of dynamics and volume. You know, when it comes to jazz playing, you know, I like a strong 2 and 4 with my left foot. You know, I think that it's an important relationship between the hi-hat chicking on 2 and 4 and the swing pattern. You know, like chigga-ding, chigga-ding, chigga-ding. Like I always notice that in records that I like. You know, I've mentioned Jeff Tain Watts a million times. I'll mention a million more times. Jeff Tain Watts, my favorite jazz drummer. You know, there's tons of great guys out there, obviously, but Jeff Watts is the guy for me that's like, ugh. You know, his energy. You know, we're talking about energy, and what energy do you bring, and his presence, and I just, yeah, his time, swings. He's a very busy player, but it doesn't like, you know, it doesn't really interfere. You know, Marvin Smitty Smith is another amazing jazz drummer. He's very busy. You know, doesn't really get in the way. You know, some guys can't do that. You know, I think folks worry too much just in general. Just play. Just get your time good. Get your time feeling good. Get your dynamics in place. You know, and just play. You know, worry about the music. Don't worry about the drumming. Get your drumming to a place where you can do it, and then just worry about the music. Listen to as much jazz as you can. Memorize as many standards as you can. Get the real book. Follow along. Get familiar with the form. You know, memorize solos of horn players. I can sing solos of so many different horn players. You know, some favorites: Michael Brecker, Tales from the Hudson, Midnight Voyage. You know, you put on that too, man. I'm gonna make a fool out of myself singing that sax solo. In the Crease from Branford Marsalis, which is a backbeat tune with all kinds of odd meter, but man, I'll sing the heck out of that sax solo. You know, other stuff on Tales from the Hudson, Pat Metheny solos, you know, the piano solos on those records. It's like, you know, it's just getting that intimate with the music. You just like get inside of it when you're listening, and you want to get inside of it when you're playing, you know. And I know that can't, you know, obviously literally happen, but if you're thinking about that, you know, if that's the place where you're coming from, then it is going to affect how you play, and that is going to affect how you affect the music, you know, and hopefully it'll improve it. And if it doesn't, then you just change course, you know. But it's really amazing, like, because there's just so much, like, it's not like a groove thing where it's like, oh, you got to play two. No, it's like with jazz, it's like you can you can't do whatever you want, but you have a lot of options, man. You know, in terms of, you know, the ride cymbal and the snare drum and the bass drum and the hi-hat. My thing with jazz that I do too much is I do like, I'll hit one on the bass drum like too much. I'll be like ba-boom, 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 you know, like a ba-boom, like I do that too much, you know. So yeah, just little things. Matthias, thanks for hanging out. Let's see, normalized audio. My relationships with drummers is so fight or love, no in between. That's funny. Mostly fight. Yeah, I hear you. My drummer threw a chair at me. I fight with my drummer. Let's see, Yoshi Percussion on YouTube says, hi, love your style of drumming. Are you into King Crimson? No. Sorry. No, I never got into King Crimson. I've always been fascinated by them, especially lately. I know they tour with double drumming with Gavin Harrison and Pat Torpey of Mr. Big fame. And I always thought that was cool. I always thought Tony Levin was cool. But man, I've never gone down the King Crimson rabbit hole. Maybe I should. Let's see, Matthias says, thank you. By the way, I just got a new Mac for my studio, so now I only need to get some new audio interfaces, and then I hope to go online and stream. Oh, no. Matthias is going to start streaming, you guys. That's it. No one's coming to my streams anymore. I look forward to that, Matthias. It's very tricky getting a good drum sound in real time, and I'm still wrestling with it. We've talked about that a lot on here, like my setup and what I do with my snare still sounds horrible. And the challenge is, like, you know, you have to, like, you know, play and like record and listen back and then make a change, and then play and record and listen back and make a change, as opposed to just like guitar players, they can just, like, you know, D D D D D, turn it up, D D D D, like they could just play right there and hear the difference right away, you know. But maybe now that I have the in-ears, I can kind of tweak the EQ like in real time. Maybe I'll give that a try, actually. Looking forward to the streams, Matthias. That's awesome. Nick on YouTube says, about interesting perspective. Thanks, Steve. I love Jeff Watts. His work with Brad is awesome. Oh, you know what? I'm actually not familiar with Jeff with Brad Meldo. I should check that out. Every time I hear Brad Meldo, I'm like, man, why does this guy have a rhythm section? Like, he kind of doesn't need one, you know? Like, he's like a one-man band, I mean, you know? It's almost like other musicians get in the way when they play with Brad. I think that guy is so cool, man. Billy Cobham talks about energy. Yeah, I believe it. Nari Soy got an endorsement from an audio interface. Okay, I don't know who that is. But if anybody knows anyone at Apollo, send them my way. I would love to get an endorsement. Let's see. I got to stream. Ha ha ha. All right, we're all caught up with the chat, I think. Let's check. I'm gonna check the. Whoa! I was checking my stream on kick.com, and oh yeah, it's streaming. Okay, cool. There's nobody on there. Oh wait, there is actually. Oh, the chat from the kick.com is not going. Chat from the kick.com is not going to. It's not going to the restream chat. Look, here's the chat. We got foot now. Can you play the drums but on my cheeks? See, this is why it's not a good idea for this chat to come in here. Okay, yeah, see, inappropriate things. Inappropriate. Oh man. See, it's probably good that's not coming in. All right, back to this. So, what did folks think about the new iPhone camera angle? Tried to get like a higher thing. I think it's pretty cool, actually. The only thing is you can't see like the left hand. You know, I'm all about like seeing the left hand because that's what I like to see when folks make videos. I'm like, I want to see the left hand, but you know, we do the multi thing too. I got that happening. Maybe we'll play some more, do a multi thing. This is the new stack. Maybe we can experiment with like this stack and then this guy here. Can we show this guy a little bit? Yes. All right. Maybe we'll do some playing. We'll experiment with those two stacks. All right, what are folks saying now? Great drum lessons. Really appreciate the time you spend, Educate. Says Richmond Drum Lessons. Thank you. Richmond Drum Lessons. Appreciate it. Matthias says, man, your streams are awesome. I chatted with a good friend, and he recommended an RME UFX 3 interface combined with some analog warm audio. Yeah, man, give it a try. I mean, it's hard to you know, try stuff. It's so expensive. You can't just buy it and take it back, or maybe you can. But you know, I checked out the RME stuff. I mean, I just did some research, and they didn't have they didn't have compression, I don't think. They just had like EQ, and I wanted something that would process everything, and that's why I like, you know, that's why I like the Apollo stuff. Sorry, this is the, you know, this is the Apollo stuff right here. Like, you can put tons and tons of effects on each. You know, I just got EQ and compression and verb and stuff, and it's all going to this like mastering. It's going to this mastering plugin. But again, like, I'm not an engineer, but I play one on TV. Just kidding. Doing the best I can. Doing the best I can. There's no gate in the UFX. Okay. All right, so let's play a little more. I'm going to put on the multicam, and play a little bit more. I'll try to slow stuff down. I'll try to play slow and speed it up, and play a little slow and speed it up. We're just gonna mess around with the stack. Should I put in the in-ears again? Hey, someone from Kick is here. Blade Org. Interesting that the chat would show up in the restream, but not on the restream before. Actually, you know what? I'm not going to use the in-ears. We're just going to put on the cans. He really does pay Dr. House on TV. Oh, man. Dr. House, how's your first streaming going? You know, on Kick it says, oh, this is my first stream. It's not my first stream. I don't bother changing the title. All my streams on Kick it says, oh, it's the first stream. Anyways, welcome Kick viewers. We're gonna do the multicam and mess around with the new stacks. I think. Let's move this guy back a little bit and turn off the air conditioner. Right. Turn off the air conditioner. Get some multi-stacks going. All right. I like that Gergo like I did at the end. That's like Gergo Borlai. The diddy, like with the ghosting in between. That's fun. So yeah, this is new. This is new. So we're just experimenting, right? Trying different grooves, trying different fills, seeing what we can do. You know, the stack over here, I feel like it's a little low in the mix because there's no like microphone that's like close to it. Yeah. What are folks saying? Let's see. Let's turn the air on again. You said Pat Torpy. I think you meant... Oh, Pat Mostelletto says Angel. Man, Pat Torpy, rest in peace. Yes, thank you, Pat Torpy from Mr. Big. Man, yeah, I got the two mixed up. I certainly didn't mean disrespect. I saw Pat Torpy with Mr. Big. They opened for Rush on the Power Windows tour, and man, he was great. So yeah, Pat Torpy's no longer with us. Pat Mostelletto. I'm probably not saying his name correctly. Mostelletto. Yes, he's from Mr. Big, I recall, and also King Crimson. Yes, thank you for the clarification. Let's see. Super tasty halftime shuffle says Nick. Thank you. Right, left, right from the stack to the splash with the backbeat. Yeah, just like trying different things, you know. Like, I don't know. What do you guys? I think this is kind of cool. This thing. You know, I kind of wish it was a little more sizzly. Maybe I need to. Maybe like one of those sizzle chains. That would actually be cool, you know, like that you put on ride cymbals. You know, shaky shells and sizzle chains. Oh, Shaman Zito says, "Don't stop now, man. I'm just running out of stuff, you know." And I get like, I don't know, I get worried that it gets boring actually. Just playing the same stuff. I mean, I've been doing this for a while now, and folks are like, they tune in, they're like, "Oh, here goes Steve playing the same stuff." So yeah, but it's fun, you know. We've been doing this for about an hour or so, so I don't know, we might call it soon unless anyone has any particular questions about anything, or if anybody wants anything demonstrated. I think we're going to call it pretty soon. My name's Steve Holmes. We're streaming live from Los Angeles-ish. We appreciate folks tuning in. All right, we do this once every week, every couple of weeks. I might switch to Sundays, actually. But I'm so used to doing it on Saturday, but a lot more people are on YouTube on Sunday, apparently. And so I kind of want to try that and see if that makes any difference. But the streams are up, like they're there for folks to watch. They have some of them have like chapters you can click on and see, like, you know, what we talked about, and you just click on the thing and it'll take you right to that point in the stream on my YouTube channel. So if folks aren't aware of that, please go to the channel, please subscribe. We're trying to get the subscriber count up on YouTube. Right now we're at like 23,000, I think. Let's see. Where are we? YouTube subscriber count 23,900. So yeah, almost at 24,000, which is a lot, but not a lot considering other like folks that are on YouTube and stuff. I don't put out content as much as other folks. I don't like dedicate, like I have a full-time job. I've got a wife and, you know, a living situation. It's just like, this is the stuff I'm doing kind of part-time. Full-time mentally, but part-time, like, you know. Your vocabulary is huge. Don't worry about repeating, says Nick. Thank you, Nick. You should throw every shaky thing in existence on that stack, says Angel. Yes. I don't know if I have anything else. You know? I don't know if I have anything else. The sizzle thing, I think, is a good idea. That's Ignacio. Greetings from Argentina today. I'm late to your YouTube live. You're never late. You're right on time, Ignacio. Thanks for hanging out. Time to set up my drums, says Normalized Audio. Are you kidding? Do it. Stream. Let's get some video stuff. Sorry, there's an odd sound. I'm gonna turn off the I'm gonna turn off the air conditioner. Matthias, what are you saying? Can we share the subscribe? Can we share the subscribers? Sure. Sure, Matthias. I'll post links to your channel and stuff if you start streaming. Yeah, for sure. Oh, you know what that sound was? I have I have like cymbals leaning up against the wall and leaning up against other drums, and I think the wall was like vibrating a little bit from this air conditioning action here. And so things are rumbling and things are sizzling. It's like, I don't know, it's like we're on a drum spaceship or something. It's crazy. Let's see, I tend to resent the channels like this have 23K subs while channels with far less skilled players have millions. Yeah, Ryan, I hear you. I mean, I certainly don't resent anyone who's successful at a thing. And there's guys that have been on YouTube full time for a long time, you know. Mike Johnston was, you know, he was one of the first guys to be like a well-known digital personality, and you know, he ended up on the cover of Modern Drummer. He's playing drum festivals, you know. That's super cool. You know, Rob, what's his name? Rob Brown, I think his name is. He's got, you know, he's got a popular channel, and I always thought I liked his setup. He's got a cool setup, like with his, you know, speakers behind him and stuff, and his screen, and I kind of have that here, but my desk is super messy. I don't know if I want to show my desk. There it is. Water bottles. It's a mess. Like, don't look. There's nothing to see there. It's not a thing. But I like this side view, you know. It's like I ask myself, like, if I was at someone's place watching them drum, like, where would I stand if I wanted to watch them play and try to learn? And I think that, you know, the back cam and the front cam are good, but a front front cam would be great too. Actually, I've tried to do that, but it's like, I don't know. Then this is the backdrop, and I don't know. I'm just overanalyzing stuff, you guys. I'm just gonna shut up. Yeah, but again, I'm not gonna resent a channel that has a ton of subscribers. I mean, you know, being successful at anything is challenging, and hats off to someone that manages to be successful, even if they're not an amazing player, even if their playing is not impressive. You know, they still manage to. They're obviously doing something that people are interested in, and when you're talking about putting out content, you know, then that's kind of currency. You know, I mean, look at Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast literally figured out the formula, and it's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. I mean, if folks that haven't heard of Mr. Beast, he's like he's got the biggest channel on YouTube almost, you know. And he does these crazy things like drive a train into a ditch and film it with 1 million cameras, and it's just him and his buddies like hanging out. And you know, he's got tons and tons of sponsors now because he's like big time, and so he just gives away, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's crazy. If you haven't seen Mr. Beast, he'll do things like he'll buy an entire car lot, all the cars on a used car lot, and him and his friends will just spend the day there and just sell the cars to strangers for like $1 a piece. It's crazy. Like, he's figured it out, you know. But his priority is like entertaining content. That's not my priority. I mean, I want to be entertaining, but I want to, you know, my priority is, you know, giving drumming information that I think will be useful and educational, and that may not be entertaining, but it will be beneficial to folks that are interested in it and may benefit from it. That's the route. As opposed to, like, you know, we're here in the drum room, I've got $1,000, you know, I'm going to give away, like, whatever. The first person that walks down this should come get $1,000. Like, I'm not going to do anything like that, you know? Or maybe I should. Come get a free drum lesson. You know, I get Mr. Beast to come here and, like, you know, give away money, and I can play drums, you know? I don't know. It's crazy. It's crazy times. Crazy times. Let's see, a sea of birds and squirrels we are around listening. They love it. Oh, interesting. Let's see, what are your thoughts on Modern Warfare 3 Survival? What do you think made it different compared to the other second game modes in the history of COD? That's a Call of Duty question, because as folks may or may not know, I'm a video game developer. I work in Infinity Ward, a video game designer, and I've worked on the Call of Duty franchise for a long time now. This person's asking about Modern Warfare 3, the old Modern Warfare 3, and a survival game mode, which was like a co-op game mode where 2 people could 2 or 4 people, 2 to 4, I forget. Yeah, just like waves and waves of enemies, and I just thought that mode was super addictive and super fun. You know, I posted on Twitter about that today. And the previous previous Modern Warfare did not have survival. They had Spec Ops, which was super cool, but they didn't have any like wave-based co-op games. And that's why survival was super fun, I think. Let's see. Ryan Cox says, well, it would be cool to have Steve Holmes on Drumeo. Yeah, I don't know what to say to that. I mean, I don't want to go like, you know, I reached out actually to I'm sorry, I forget his name, the guy that is in charge of Drumeo, one of the top guys. I reached out to him on Facebook during the pandemic. I think I was feeling particularly inspired one day, and I was like, hey, when this is all over, let's do a Drumeo thing. And he actually responded. He was like, yeah, that sounds great. And I never heard from those guys, and I'm not going to go chasing. I mean, if folks like my content and they want me to come do a thing, then I'll be happy to come do a thing, you know? And that's kind of like a be careful what you wish for thing, but then, because then I got to fly out and like spend days and not saying I wouldn't do it, but you know, it would be fun. Let's see. Drumeo knows who he is. I test them. Ha ha ha. Okay. Let's see. You know, yeah. I mean, Drumeo. Honestly, I really like Drumeo. I think that their production quality in particular, like the way that their videos look and the way they sound, man. Whoever they have over there, like mixing that stuff, is just doing such a good job. The drum sound always sounds good. Gergo Borlai on Drumeo, Dave DeCenzo on Drumeo is some of my favorite drumming like ever. Especially DeCenzo. DeCenzo's got like a 4-piece or something on there. And like, you know, hat crash and like a stack. And he just slays. He slays on there, DeCenzo. Crazy. Yeah, and it all sounds amazing. So, yeah, there you go. There you go. All right, I think we're going to call it. It's really hot in here. Let's see, David Bricka says, are the Metrophone's studio cans any better than the Direct Sound EX29 as far as sound quality? I haven't been able to find any headphones with sound isolation. You know, I'm not using the studio cans for audio. I simply use these for, you know, ear protection. I don't have any audio signals going through here. And my experience is that they don't sound terribly amazing. But they are good for soundproofing, ear protection. So I used to do the Apple, you know, earbuds like underneath of these for a long time. But as I mentioned earlier, I got some new Shure in-ear monitors that I'm enjoying. So, all right, I think that's all she wrote. I think we're going to wrap it up. Appreciate folks hanging out. Twitter, Facebook, Kick, Twitch, and YouTube. Internet drummers. Post those comments. Reach out to me on my channel. You can email me if you want like some lessons on Zoom or something. steveholmes@gmail.com. If you want to contribute to the channel on YouTube, you can do that. There's like a super or something you can click to. All contributions are welcome. Or if you want to PayPal me or something on PayPal, steveholmes@gmail.com. Yeah, I don't have a Patreon, and so this is it. Just folks supporting and giving donations. So if you get something out of it, that would be great. Have a great weekend. We'll see you next time.